I think the most important problem in terms of what the state needs to do is in the area of housing. We have almost nothing on a state level that would assist in providing low and moderate income housing, and that is a very pressing problem, and that was pointed up to us today.
I noticed that Mayor Stovall was particularly interested in federal help in the housing program, even the courts and recreation. Are those areas that you might get involved in?
These certainly are areas we might get involved in because when you consider the urban crisis, urban affairs, urban problems, certainly the availability and accessibility of recreational facilities is an important part of that total problem. So we will get into that, and we will have some recommendations on that.
Well, I think you'll see more and more industry coming to Texas. We do have, really, one of the greatest economic climates, I think, that industry could find anywhere. And when I talk about that, we have a good tax structure, we have good management labor laws, we have good schools, and we have good local and state government. Those are the factors that industry looks for.
Will continued increased industrialization, sir, give us enough of a commercial tax base to postpone an increase in personal taxes?
Well, I think it will definitely postpone the time when we'll have to have a personal income tax, because the more people we have in, the more business we have in, the more impact we have on our payrolls, and the more money is spent. We have a sales tax now on practically everything except food, medicine, and farm equipment and things like that. So I think if we can continue this wave of prosperity, that it'll be a long time before you'll see a personal income tax on the state level.
Do you feel that today's action by the board represents a betrayal of confidence?
Well, I would hardly say it represents a betrayal of confidence, but I don't think that we have been considered in this thing as it was proposed by Mr. Ringler, the chairman of the park board, because the idea is that we got from him appointing a committee to work with us, that we were to sit down with this committee and try to work out a solution that would be acceptable to both parties.
What sort of people will be affected? Are there wealthy people primarily that live along the shores of Lake Worth?
Basically, there are common, ordinary, everyday working people, just like myself. A lot of the people work at General Dynamics.
When we first came in a year ago, Mr. Reynolds, we found that many programs were looked at individually and one at a time. And what the President charged the Urban Affairs Council with when he set it up in January '69 was the development of a national urban policy, in the light of which we could look at these individual questions. And just as having a foreign policy doesn't ensure that your treatment of each question is going to be proper, but still gives you a context in which to look at individual problems as they come up, so a national urban policy should do the same thing. We've made some beginnings. Throughout the last year, we've sought answers to questions like urban mass transportation, reform of the welfare system, relief of the fiscal problems of states and localities, and a number of others.
A lot of this program is aimed at getting an overview of urban problems. Do you foresee the day when councils of government or regional organizations such as this will take over some of the urban governmental problems?
I hope the day comes soon when they're able to understand how the federal government relates to them. That is, we find that one of the real problems in relationships between the federal government, states, and localities is that we in Washington have so many planning grants that Einstein would be confused by the problem. We're working right now to make things much easier for things like a council of government to simplify their approach to the federal government for assistance.